You might have noticed that making friends as an adult feels a lot harder than it used to, and it can leave you wondering if you are doing something wrong. But what if the real problem is not you, but the pressure you are putting on yourself to make it happen quickly? Today, we are going to talk about how to make more friends as an adult without forcing it by focusing on one simple shift in how you approach connection. This matters because loneliness and social disconnection are common in adult life, and small changes can make a real difference in how supported you feel day to day. When you practice this approach consistently, you may start to notice that friendships begin to form more naturally, without the awkwardness or exhaustion you might have felt before. The key mistake many of us make is treating friendship like a task to complete, rather than a gentle process of showing up and being open. In this video, I will walk you through this one shift step by step in a calm and practical way that fits into your real life. So, let us start by looking at what is actually getting in the way of those connections you are hoping for. Making friends as an adult often feels like a puzzle that doesn't quite fit. This topic is about understanding that friendship doesn't have to be forced or manufactured. It means letting connections grow naturally from shared experiences and genuine interest. For example, it could be striking up a conversation with someone you see regularly at a coffee shop. A common misunderstanding is that you need to have a grand plan or a perfect approach. The relief here is that you can relax and trust the process of organic connection. The takeaway is to focus on being present rather than trying to impress. This sets the stage for why this approach matters for your well-being. Friendships are a cornerstone of our daily happiness and mental health. They provide a sense of belonging and support that makes life feel richer. When you have genuine connections, even ordinary days feel more meaningful. Studies show that strong social ties can reduce stress and improve overall health. But many adults neglect this area, thinking it will happen on its own. The benefit of focusing on natural friendship is that it reduces anxiety around socializing. A simple takeaway is to prioritize quality over quantity in your interactions. Next, let's look at what life feels like when these connections are missing. Without a solid friend group, life can start to feel isolated and heavy. You might find yourself spending more time alone than you'd like. This lack of connection often leads to a sense of drifting through the weeks. For instance, weekends might feel empty without plans or people to share them with. A common pitfall is believing that you're the only one struggling to make friends. The insight here is that many adults feel this way, so you're not alone. The takeaway is to acknowledge this feeling without judgment. Now, let's explore the habits that might be blocking these connections. If you're enjoying this conversation about making friends as an adult, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What part of today's video felt most relatable to you? Maybe it was the idea of starting with a shared interest or giving yourself permission to be patient. Drop a comment below and let me know what small step you might try this week. Your experience could really help someone else who's feeling the same way. And if you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel. That way you will not miss future videos on building real connections and a happier life. Thank you for watching and for being part of this community. Often, we have habits that unintentionally push people away. One common pattern is waiting for others to make the first move. This belief that friendships should just happen can keep you passive. For example, you might avoid initiating plans because you fear rejection. The truth is that most people appreciate when someone takes the lead. The relief comes from realizing that you can change these patterns. A practical takeaway is to start noticing when you hold back. This leads us to the first mindset shift that can help. The first shift is to move from seeking friends to being open to connections. This matters because it takes the pressure off every interaction. Instead of trying to make a friend, focus on being a friendly person. Practically, this means smiling more and showing genuine curiosity about others. A misunderstanding is that you need to be outgoing, but it's about authenticity. The benefit is that you attract people who resonate with the real you. The takeaway is to approach each day with openness rather than agenda. With this mindset, you're ready for the first practical step. The first step is to create small, low-pressure opportunities for interaction. This is crucial because it builds momentum without overwhelming you. Start by joining a group or activity that meets regularly, like a book club or hiking group. For instance, commit to attending once a week and just being present. A common pitfall is expecting immediate friendship, but it takes time. The insight is that consistency matters more than intensity. The takeaway is to show up and let familiarity do its work. This naturally leads into deeper ways to nurture these budding connections. So what does this actually look like when you're living it day to day? It's not about having a packed social calendar or constant invitations. Instead, it's the quiet feeling of being connected to the people already around you. You might notice yourself saying a simple hello to the same barista and letting a short conversation happen naturally. Or you could find yourself sitting in a coffee shop and making eye contact with someone, then smiling without overthinking it. The key is that you're not forcing anything, just staying open to small moments of contact. Over time, these small moments start to add up into a sense of belonging that feels effortless. This is the foundation that makes deeper friendships possible without pressure. One simple practice you can try is what I call the 3-second rule for friendly contact. Whenever you see someone you recognize, even vaguely, give yourself 3 seconds to acknowledge them. That might mean a nod, a quick wave, or just a genuine smile before your brain talks you out of it. The point is to override the default habit of looking down at your phone or pretending you didn't see them. You don't need to start a full conversation, just a tiny signal that says, I see you and I'm friendly. This small habit rewires your brain to notice opportunities for connection instead of avoiding them. After a few weeks, you'll find yourself doing it automatically, and people will start responding in kind. It's a low-risk way to create a warmer, everyday social environment without any forced effort. If you're looking for more gentle, practical guidance on building a life that feels good, I have something for you. Over at www.happylifetribe.com, you'll find articles and resources that go deeper into topics like this one. We focus on small, everyday shifts that help you feel more connected, calm, and a common mistake is trying to jump straight from casual acquaintance to deep friendship too quickly. Many adults feel impatient, so they push for coffee dates or weekend plans before the natural foundation is there. When that happens, it can feel awkward or even desperate, and the other person might pull away. The real problem is skipping the slow, organic process of building familiarity over repeated low-stakes interactions. You don't need to plan something big, you just need to show up regularly in the same spaces and let rapport develop. Think of it like watering a plant. You don't dump a whole bucket at once, you give it small amounts consistently. If you rush, you risk making the other person feel pressured, which defeats the whole purpose. Patience here actually speeds things up in the long run because it feels natural to both of you. To keep this from feeling overwhelming, focus on one small change at a time instead of trying to overhaul your social life. Pick one environment where you already spend time, like your gym, a park, or a local bookstore. Then simply commit to being a little more open in that one place for a couple of weeks. You don't have to be outgoing everywhere all at once. That's exhausting and unsustainable. Realistically, you might only have energy for 1 or 2 small friendly exchanges per day, and that is plenty. The relief comes from realizing that even tiny, consistent actions create momentum without draining you. So give yourself permission to go slow and only push your comfort zone a tiny bit at a time. This approach turns a big, scary goal into something you can actually manage week by week. As you start making these small shifts, you'll notice a subtle but real change in how you feel day to day. That vague loneliness or isolation begins to soften because you're creating more moments of micro-connection. You might start feeling more relaxed in public places since you know a few familiar faces. Emotionally, you'll feel less pressure to perform or impress because these interactions are so low stakes. Mentally, you'll stop overanalyzing every social encounter because you're not trying to control the outcome. Over time, your brain starts associating social situations with ease rather than anxiety. This creates a positive cycle where you feel more confident, which makes you more approachable, which brings more connection. It's a gradual shift, but one that genuinely lifts your overall sense of well-being. Life will inevitably get hectic, and that's when the momentum toward friendship can stall if you're not careful. The key is to have a few micro habits that you can maintain even on your busiest days. For example, you might keep a mental note to compliment one person you see, or to ask a simple question like, "How's your day going?" These tiny gestures take almost no time but keep the social muscle from atrophying. When you're swamped, it's tempting to retreat entirely, but that's the moment to intentionally stay minimally engaged. Remind yourself that consistency matters more than intensity, so a 2-second wave counts as maintenance. You'll find that even during busy seasons, these small actions preserve the connections you've built. And once things calm down, you can easily pick up where you left off, which brings us to how to deepen those connections without pushing. Over time, this shift starts to change how your ordinary days feel. You stop seeing every interaction as a test of whether you'll make a friend. Instead, you begin to notice small moments of connection that used to pass you by. A quick chat with a neighbor or a shared smile with a coworker starts to feel like enough. You might still have quiet days where nothing special happens, and that's okay. The relief comes from knowing you don't need to force anything to feel connected. Your daily life becomes less about chasing friendships and more about being present with people. This natural rhythm makes the whole process feel lighter and more sustainable. Even when things are going well, a realistic challenge can still show up. You might have a week where you feel invisible or like no one is interested in talking. This can happen when you're tired, stressed, or just in a low mood. It's easy to think you failed or that the whole approach isn't working. The truth is, these slumps are normal and don't mean you're doing anything wrong. They're just part of being human, and they pass more quickly when you don't fight them. The key is to not let one bad week undo all the progress you've made. You can simply acknowledge it and keep going without judgment. If you slip back into old patterns, the first step is to notice it without criticizing yourself. You might catch yourself trying too hard or avoiding people altogether again. Instead of panicking, take a slow breath and remind yourself this is part of the process. Gently return to the simple practice of just showing up and being open. You don't need to make up for lost time or overcompensate with extra effort. The recovery is often just a matter of resetting your intention for the day. One small, kind interaction can be enough to get you back on track. Remember, slipping doesn't erase the growth you've already built. This topic helps most people who feel lonely but also exhausted by the pressure to socialize. It's especially useful if you've tried making friends through forced routines and felt worse afterward. It also helps those who are naturally quiet or introverted and need a gentler approach. If you've ever felt like you're doing something wrong because friendships don't come easily, this is for you. The reason it works is that it removes the guilt and replaces it with simple presence. You don't have to become a different person to benefit from this shift. It meets you where you are and lets connection grow at your own pace. This approach is for anyone who wants real friendships without the constant strain. To begin today, start with just one small action that feels easy and safe. Pick a place you already go, like a coffee shop or a park, and simply look up from your phone. Make eye contact with one person and offer a small nod or a brief smile. That's it. You don't need to start a conversation or plan what to say. The goal is to practice being open without any expectation of a result. Do this once today, and then again tomorrow, without adding pressure. Notice how it feels in your body when you allow a tiny moment of connection. This single practice is the foundation everything else builds on. This change is worth practicing because it brings you back to what friendship actually is. It's not about collecting people or performing a version of yourself that seems likable. Real friendship grows from small, honest moments shared over time. You don't need to rush, impress, or force anything to make it happen. The more you practice this gentle approach, the more natural it becomes. You'll start to trust that connection can find you when you're simply being yourself. And that trust is what makes the whole process feel less like work and more like life. You already have everything you need to begin right where you are, so the next time you feel unsure about reaching out, just remember that small steps count. You don't have to force anything. Just be yourself and let connections happen naturally. If this video helped you feel a little more confident, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Happy Life Tribe. We share practical ideas like this every week to help you build a calmer, more fulfilling life. For even more encouragement and support, visit www.happylifetribe.com. There you'll find a community of people who are also learning to live with more intention and less pressure. You'll get gentle guidance, calm living inspiration, and real actionable advice. Thanks for being here, and I hope you take that first small step toward a new friendship today.